so that I can review it over and over again. So he's been referred to as Mr. Structure, and he's well sought after in Africa. He's training people in Ghana and different countries on how they can be able to grow and really make money, step up, and achieve a lot in your life. And that's why I thought it was good for us to have this particular session where we meet as leaders and we discuss and see how can we be able to grow our business to the next level. And without further ado, I want to invite Bwana Fred Kasia. Fred, karibu sana.
Well, thank you so much, Fred, and for the invite also, and for that introduction. And good evening, team. I'm so happy to even get associated with your name. That is the Conquerors team. And I believe after today's session, in addition to the many more sessions that you have had and what we're going to have, that indeed we're going to conquer the goals and the targets that are ahead of us. Currently, I'm in Mbeya. It's a very cold place. Some 1,200 kilometers away from Nairobi. And we had a very wonderful meeting today. And I'm also happy to have this opportunity also to close the day by talking to this incredible team. And Fred, I would like to start by thanking you for your leadership over the last 27 years or so. We've known each other. I know what kind of a gentleman you are. And as the leader of the Conquerors team, I believe the sky is not the limit. And today being the 30th of June, I believe is a day that we want to restart the business afresh. And let me, Fred, talk a little bit about yourself, just to this team. We had a chat with Fred some times back, a week or so ago, and he shared with me that he's going to give me a team that he believes are not just going to do this business, but he's going to give me just a small team of individuals that he called his Team A, that he believes that they are going not just to do this business, but they are going to do even bigger things, more grandeur things than Fred has done. And that got me thinking, what makes this small group so special that over the thousands of people that Fred is commanding as a leader, that he has chosen between 10 and 16 persons that I believe that he believes that they are going to do this business in a way that has not been done before. And as we all know that when so much has been given, also so much is expected. So I believe, Fred, the faith that you have in this team is not misplaced. And for you to choose them to be the ones that we're going to have this leadership discussion, there must be something special in them. And there must be a huge element of greatness in each one of them. And that is where I want to pick, because if you've mentioned to me further, these are persons, if we talk to, they are not just going to become the managers or senior managers, executive managers, or directors or emerald directors, but you dare tell me that indeed these are the team that you have in mind that are not just going to be world team members, but they are going to be Sapphire directors, Ruby directors, that is 1, 2 Ruby directors, 3 Ruby directors, and each one of them has the potential of becoming a president team member. And that surely has quite excited me, because when somebody believes in you, then it means they are seeing something in you. And Fred, based on that, I say today, I'm not just going to discuss about building the business, but I would like to discuss with this team something big, in the sense that I would like us to ask ourselves, how can we build a business that will help each one of you to come from where you are, that you can actually write point A to a point B, where Fred sees that you can actually get your business to be there. That your point A, if you are a manager, that is where you start. And then you can just draw a line from where you are to a point B, and that is becoming a president team member. And that is key, because I believe our results will just be as a result of how big our dreams are, or how big we dare to dream and to set goals. So today being not just an ordinary night or evening or day, I would like us to look at it as a day that we want to restart our business. And that is key. I know some of you have been in this business for a long time, maybe for a few months, maybe for a few years. I also afraid. But this discussion is for us to really tune our minds and our hearts and our actions that will follow to the mindset that we are actually ready to restart this business today. Why is that important? Because whatever happens yesterday, the day before yesterday, does not count to what we are going to become. Even God himself is not really interested in the person that we were yesterday, but what we are working hard to become. And that is a kind of mindset I would like us to have this evening as we see how big can we build this business. We've already stated we're going to build it not just to the next level of achievement as per our compensation plan, but we're going to big it to do it in such a big way that it's going not just to surprise ourselves, but indeed we become an example for others to emulate when it comes to belief and faith and determination. So the question is, how can we build our business from where it is to the highest level that we want to take it? And for me, I'm looking at it, why should we target to do something beyond or below a president team member? A president team member is somebody who is earning a million Kenya shillings plus, depending on their volume and the title that they have. So I would like you to have that big picture. In other words, we are looking at this business by doing it 10 times or 4 times, 10 times, 100 times, and indeed almost 1,000 times, because that is the mindset that I would like us to have. Why? Because we're not just a team, we are the conquerors team. So what do we need to do to move from where we are to the next level? Before that, I would like to also thank each one of you for believing in a new life opportunity and seeing the possibility of what you can achieve. With that in mind, therefore, I can say one of the things that we need to do so that we can build our business from where we are to the next level is that we need to have a strong business structure. That is important. What is this structure? It is simply your model of business. It is simply refers to your organization. Industry or the business that you are in is a network marketing company. Others will call it a multi-level kind of a business, because there are levels that are involved. We're going to talk about it later. But since this structure or model is simply organization, we're simply talking about having a strong organization of a business that will help each one of us to move from point A to point B. And I've said, just draw it. A circle, 1A, a line, B, and then we now start talking about it. But for us to build a strong business structure, one, as far as our business is concerned, what do I have in mind? What kind of a business organization is this that is going to help you to do things that are greater than even your current goals and aspirations? Well, I would like to give you some parameters so that we can have a mental picture that we take to our hearts, so that we can, every day we wake up, every day we plan to do this business, you can have a clear picture of the kind of structure that will help you to navigate through this process, and then you get your business to the next level. One of the key things that will show whether your business is strong or we need to do something is it has to be built we know we're talking about a stability. We're talking about like a 10, 20 story building that requires a very solid foundation so that it can withstand the ravages of time, disaster, to be unstable. The same thing with our business. For it to withstand these situations that you may face in the nature of our industry, then it needs to be built deep and wide. Depth, we've talked about it, is stability. Depth simply means your team is sponsoring. But when I'm talking about a business that is deep, that will actually be aligned with one of our last values, that is long-range vision. Long-range vision means we need to build a business that will outlive our generation. It's a generational business, but we need to build a business that even with time, for whatever reasons, if we're not there, that business becomes a legacy that you form. And we have examples of persons that have built it. Your leader of the Congress team has done it for 28 plus years. That you can see the kind of vision that he has. That is what I would like us to start from. But what picture should we have when we are building a business deep? I would like you to dare dream and just write yourself, draw the first circle there, and you can just write your name. If it is job, you write your name as job. And then you can have the circle below you, and the second circle below you, and the third circle below you, and the fourth circle below you, and I will tell you what we are going to discuss about that. And in your circle, if it is job or mercy, I would like you to write your name there, and you also write president team member, because we need to see it to live it. On the second circle, I will also want to also write number 1, then number 2, number 3, number 4. I'm talking about something like this, where you have yourself here, then you have a circle there, a second circle there, a third circle there, and the fourth and the fifth circle, plus, 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 because depth in our business should be endless. Now, since you are a PT and you're the one writing it, then we're gonna work it together until you achieve it. On the second level, on the first circle down there, I would like you to write D. It's the name of a person. On the second circle there, I would like you to write B. It's the name of a person. And the third circle there, I would like you to write H. It's also a name of a person. And below that H, I would like you to write another H2. It's also a name of a person. Who are these people? These are people that have allowed me to talk about how deep they have built their business. If maybe, for example, is Mercy, who has written she is a PT, the second person there is a person we call Dora Juma, who is a president team member in Tanzania. We drew a structure like we are drawing this evening. That is a president team member. Below Dora, you've written a B. That is a Baruti, who is a president team member. Below Baruti, you have an H, who is Oceana, who is a 5 Ruby director, a president team member. Below that, you also have Usna, who is a president team member and a 5 Ruby director. Below there, we have a 3 Ruby director, we have a 1 Ruby director. below that. And those are just examples of people that we know, we've worked with, and they have actually done that kind of a business. I'm just using their name. We can use our own example, but I just want to use an example of people that have learned from us in Kenya what we need to do in building this business. So can you imagine now, when you think about that, depth in your business means so much than just sponsoring people or your team sponsoring people. I will talk about it a little bit later. So, but that is depth. And even if we wanted to go where you wrote a B, you can write a line that has a Z. That is the president team member, Zubed. And below her, we have also a G, who is a Gatti, who is a president team member. And below we have friend Musio, who is a 3 Ruby director, Stella, a 2 Ruby director. That is the kind of mindset that I would like us to have today from the 30th of June, so that we can see the massive business that we are going to build in Kenya under the Conquerors team. Because Fred has indicated you are the A team that he has in mind that are going to do greater things than he has done himself. I can't imagine how much we're going to do together. So that is depth. For each of those people that I've mentioned, remember, they need to build their business wide, something like this. And since today we're talking about building a president team member business, each of these president team member, if it is Mercy or Job or your name, the one you've written, you need to have 6 legs of qualified directors. That would be people who are doing more than 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 PVs on all these levels. You can start to imagine the kind of business that we are going to build moving forward. I was just giving you an example of the possibilities, and those possibilities are indeed a reality because we worked it out together with the leaders that I've mentioned. That is one parameter of a strong business structure or model or an organization. That is depth. And width, with looking at the legs. And width, building it wide simply equals to personal sponsoring. Depth equals to team is sponsoring on all those levels, to the 6th, to the 10th, to the 20th level, down, 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 because it's a business that we want to build that indeed is going to outlive our timeline, our lifetime. And what makes it so important at that point, keep in mind all the persons that we have mentioned and what Fred has done with all of you is simply investing in people. And that is one of the key elements of building your business deep. We simply building, investing, and developing and growing people below us. It starts with you personal sponsoring, then the team sponsors, and I will talk about it later. So what is the second parameter of the kind of business that we are going to build together so that we can put it in our minds? A strong business structure, in addition to being deep and wide, should be able to trigger excitement at the lower levels. That is important. A strong business should be able to have as many excited people at the lower levels as possible. What do I mean? I will just illustrate again with this. The person below here, let's say they are a 1-2 Ruby director, you can imagine the kind of money this person is getting because they have people below them. The person above them is extremely excited because they have sponsored and developed somebody on this level who is excited. There are 3 Ruby director. We have a president team member here who is earning 1 million Kenya shillings plus. We have another president team member here. We have another president team member here and another president team member here. I'm just using it to illustrate how these points are connected. Deep and wide also leads to excitement at the lower levels. As people, your downlines get excited at these lower levels, we're talking about downward motivation. And that automatically triggers an upward excitement, stability of your business, and most important, it triggers that upward motivation that creates a solid business like we've just mentioned. Okay, that is the mindset I would like us to have. We have it going deep and wide, all those levels. There is excitement at the lower levels. And what would be the third point that will help us to build, to see that indeed we have a strong business so that we can have a mental picture as we draw it. A strong business structure, in addition to those two, is one that helps you to increase your income. You have the business model, you have the money has stagnated or it is coming down, it is simply means there is some activity that we want to do so that it can also solidify. And that is important. That excitement that I talked about at these lower levels, one of the elements of creating excitement is when people are earning money on the lower levels. That is bonuses, using and sharing the product, and also getting them to earn benefit from the compensation plan from a manager, a senior manager, executive manager on those lower levels, directors, emerald directors, sapphire directors, ruby directors, 2 ruby directors, 3 ruby directors, plus. That is what we're talking about, the increase of income. So it's not about your increasing your income up here. It is helping as many people at the lower levels to increase their income, their residual income, so that they can realize their dreams, they are excited, and they keep building the business deep and wide. So as they earn money at those lower levels, where the foundation is, therefore it is important to see the bigger picture. And obviously, as we build that business, income is increasing. A fourth parameter to get to know whether your business is strong or it needs to be done something so that it can be strong. It needs to have an increase in volume. Volume simply means you have as many people as possible that are doing their bare minimum or the much that they are doing. So the importance of building a network is because we are increasing our volume. And our volume simply means our PVs. Remember, we say for you to benefit from the compensation plan, because it's not a pyramid, we know you need to do your 100 points, but that is a bare minimum. That is just what is required just to participate. But as a leader, setting an example, you need to do more than that. Because the more you do, your team is going to do the same. And as your network increases, people get paid more, excitement is increasing, and now deep and wide makes even more sense. That is the sense of increasing your network so that you have a bigger structure that is triggering product movement. As you also say, tell people, the one you bring into the business, when there is no product movement, no one gets paid. That is where the volume is coming from. So you're going to be paid in a way that is equal to the volume that you're creating in the business. So the more volume you have, the more income you're going to get. To increase to 750, 800, because the money, if you become a senior manager, you need to do more than 1,000 points. You need to have a bigger team that is going to give you something in between the 1,000 and 2,000. There is more money into it. If you're doing 2,000 points, then you need to increase it to 3,000, because that's where the money starts. An executive manager doing 2,000 is not equal to an executive manager doing 3,000. That is important. As you get to 4,000, that is just the bare minimum. You need to increase that volume from 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000. By the time it's getting to 6,000, it means you're already earning more than 50% of the person doing 4,000. That is how it works. That is where the money is. If you're getting somebody doing 7,000 QPV, that means you can't equal their money to somebody doing 4,000, 5,000, or 6,000. That is where the increase of volume comes in. As you get it to a Sapphire director, we're not just doing 10,000 because you can't compare somebody doing 10,000 and 15,000. There is no comparison in the income that they are getting. That is the connection between all those points that I've mentioned. Again, a strong business structure, once you've done all those things, increase in volume, income is increasing, excitement is there, deep and wide, it leads to the fifth parameter of a strong business structure. A strong business structure should trigger consistency. Consistency is everything in this business, just as it is in anything that we're doing in life. Consistency, more often than not, we look at it as where Fred is as a top person or where you are, but consistency is least of that. Consistency has to do with helping the person that is below here to be consistent at what they are doing. If you have somebody doing 100 points down there, we need to help them to have some activity that will ensure they do 100 points for the rest of their life in your life. Or they take it to 500. Once they take it to 500 here, need to do something to ensure that they will have to continually do 500 points with their team, or they take it to 1,000. The same thing with 1,000. They take it to executive manager. We have to do some activity that will enable us to ensure that person to help them to continuously do their 2,000, or they take it to 3,000, to 4,000, to 5,000, plus, plus, plus. The last one, a strong business structure should help you to move to the next step. That is your status. Many times we do this business by looking at, I want to be this. It becomes a challenge. But if you do all these other activities that I've mentioned, therefore, the status or the step up becomes the last thing, the automatic thing in network marketing. And that's what we want to keep our minds in. But then the question is, what do we need to do so that we can build that kind of a business? There are many things that we can do, but I have maybe 2 or 3 things that I believe if we restart this process, because we said it doesn't matter what we did yesterday, or 5 years, 10 years, even 28 years, we're restarting afresh because that is a beauteous thing to do. We've already done it. So it becomes very easy to restart this process. Before I talk about it, just going back to our line from point A to point B, I said we need to be bold and say we want to build our business from where it is to PET business. But in the middle, you can just put a star there in the middle as a stop so that we can actually say we want to build it to 20,000. 20,000, it goes to 30 plus, plus, plus. The question, therefore, is what do we need to do to build that kind of a business? We've already done something. Actually, we've already set the targets of what we want to achieve. We want to take it from where we are. We want to land at 20. We want to land at 100. But we also, in between, you can put your stars as your stop. But that line where there are no stars or something, you can just write activity. You have to decide what activity you're going to engage in so that you can build that kind of a business. Now, one of the key things that will help us to move from where we are to build that kind of a business that is going to do all those benefits is personal sponsoring. We really need to see the value of personal sponsoring, because without personal sponsoring, therefore, we are not going to move. We're going to remain stuck. I talk about depth equaling to team sponsoring. But the biggest responsibility starts with you, because you are a leader in every aspect of it. So personal sponsoring becomes your biggest, most critical activity that we want to engage. And for the purpose of this discussion, how many people should we sponsor? A distributor, and today we can start afresh and say we are distributors. A distributor every month is supposed to sponsor 3 people in their network. I would like you to see the bigger picture. Why the 3 people? Look at it like today is June. Looking at June next year, if we went and doing our 3 in 30, it means each one of us, all of us in this call, will have sponsored personally 36 people. You can see that, 36 of them. Now, why should you sponsor them? Because we are also looking for business builders. That is part of the structure. Business builders are people that are not using or using the products. They are people sharing the products and helping others to buy the products to join their network. And that will only start by helping people to grow to a manager level. And that's why I'm so excited about the managers in this call, because from here, you can actually build a business to a president team member, because you already done it. It becomes very easy for you to redo it again. What is the importance of those managers that you build in your business, in addition to them being business builders? Once you become a director, you will continue to develop those managers. Now, what is the value of them, in addition to looking for business builders? Can you imagine the income you can make by having managers below you? You're earning at 20%, 25%, they earn 5%, you are earning over, or 20% from each one of them. An estimate is around 9,000, 10,000. Think about it. By investing in people becoming managers, you already see the monetary value, the stability is creating in your business. So, personal sponsoring equals to personal managers. And as you sponsor 36 people, ask yourself how many of them should become managers. In network marketing, in our people you bring into the business, 50% of them need to upgrade to managers. So let's say the 36 of them you bring into the business, cumulatively, you have 18 of them that have qualified to become managers. Now, 18 times 500, we're talking about 9,000 QPVs that each one of us will have added on your personal production. 20% should become senior manager. I will not even do that calculation. But you can start to see the value of sponsoring and upgrading people to managers at the end of it. And that is one of the areas that I would like us to really zero in as part of our to-do list, our action items as we build this business. And you can imagine by that time, it means all of you here, if they acted on that, by next year, this time, we will have people doing more than 15,000 QPVs. That will be a strong Sapphire director who is earning not less than 150,000 to 200 plus. It starts with doing your personal sponsoring, just your 3 in 30. And that just that just makes it for you. The second point that we need to work on as we build this business, we need to work on our team sponsoring. Remember, sponsoring is a process. You start with from your prospecting, it doesn't end there, then you sponsor somebody. If, for example, Fred has sponsored Fred, you need to show mercy to sponsor the job. The mercy is going down. It means Fred will teach mercy to show job how to sponsor Pauline. We're already at third level, fourth level as we go down. It means Fred will have to go down and show, so you sponsor, you show, you teach, you develop, and you duplicate. You can already see we are at the sixth level, plus, plus, plus. That is the process of sponsoring. That is where the stability comes in. So as you now sponsor the team, what happens? You create team managers. As the first managers you brought, they sponsor and they bring managers, they automatically become senior managers. Your money increases to 15,000 from each one of those personal senior managers you develop. So you can imagine if you're developing 10 of them, how much money are we talking about? But we are not motivated by the money. We're motivated by leadership and helping other people to become like us through duplication, or they become better than what we are doing, because only then do we become leaders, when we have people that are not over-relying on us, but they are actually self-driven in building their business. That is important. So for the purpose of this discussion, those are the two things that I believe are going to help us to build the kind of network structure that I talked about. But for this to happen, what should we do? Yes, this is the Conquerors team. But we also need to have our own, we need to look at it and own our business, your respective business, by taking personal responsibility. Personal responsibility of your team means you're not going to over-rely on the upline or even cross-line, but you're going to take personal responsibility of that business. And personal responsibility simply means it is total responsibility without excuses. Total responsibility simply means you are the CEO of your business. That to me means you are, that team is your company. The growth or stagnation of that team depends entirely on yourself taking personal responsibility. How big you're going to build it depends on you, your goals, your dreams, that will be determined, also worked upon by the actions that you're going to undertake every day, every week, every month, every year, moving forward from where we are. Personal responsibility means you will be self-driven, that you're going to take responsibility of that company of yours and know that you are a leader, and the business will grow or fall under your ability as a great leader. And I believe the persons that Fred has brought into this call today is because of your leadership attributes. He would not have invited you. He believes in you. That is my personal take. And he believes that you're going to do things greater than you see yourself today. That is total responsibility. Total responsibility means you're going to be committed to your business. That is the second point. We really need to have our commitment to be consistent in this business. And that consistency leads to commitment. And we're not just talking about commitment because it's a business. I'm talking about a die-hard commitment that is aligned to the kind of vision that you have drawn. We've drawn a business that will help you from becoming a manager to a senior manager, executive manager, world team member to a president team member. Commitment can only be defined if you aligned your activity and everything to this kind of goals. You see, consistency is an unwavering commitment to a set of rules, actions, and activities. That is what we want to keep in mind. And in this mind, it's about this company, this team that God has blessed you with. Work on it. In this business, this kind of die-hard commitment so that we can have success. We need to be focused, and a focused person is a resolute person. We need to be focused to these goals, think about them, work them every day by simply having that chart, the dream chart there, because that's what you are working on. Then your focus and your and your energies will follow automatically. That is the power of focus in building this business. Obviously, this kind of focus, commitment, consistency, and taking personal responsibility requires discipline that is unwavering. Personal discipline is everything to build this kind of a structure. Without discipline, we will not be focused. Our commitment will not be resolute. Our consistency will not work. And remember, who we are is what we train down there. So we want to set the bar so high that the people that are under us, they can every day confess, this is my leader. I can take his instruction, I can take his mentorship, and I can take his direction because you see it beyond where they are. Lastly, I believe that a strong business structure to go out and engage in those activities will require for you to trust yourself. Your leader trusts you. Based on what he has mentioned about the qualities that you have, I've learned to trust you even before we have interacted together, because Fred is a man of his words. So I want to challenge yourself today, being the day we're restarting the business. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust the gift that God has given you? Do you trust the team that you have, that indeed together, under your leadership, you can build a business that is bigger than your lifetime? That trust requires faith. And I believe that kind of faith means you simply need to believe what you do not even see today. That is a structure that I've drawn to you. It's not an imagination. We need to have our heights of faith that indeed you can do it because others have done it. And most of the time we are told we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We only need to be ready to learn, and you can only learn from those who know, those who have done this business. Observe their structure, their story, be ready to learn. And those who know how to build this business are simply you and each one of you in the Conquerors team. That means from today, we need to be defined as men and women of courage that see the possibilities of the things that we have talked about today. People that are going to say, this is the time. I'm going to do what I have to do to achieve the goals that I set for myself and what my leaders see in myself, because at times they see more than we see in ourselves. This is a day you can say enough is enough. It is that simply means you're ready to be uncomfortable, do the uncomfortable thing until success becomes automatic. And success simply means we know there is no secret to it. It is a result of preparation, hard work. Be ready to wake up with determination and going to bed with satisfaction because you have nailed it. You've done what you needed to do because success is your portion. You are the conquerors team. I personally believe in each one of you. I'm looking forward to having us to sit together with your teams. Fred has been brought his team. I would like to have an opportunity so that we can sit with your A team and then we can draw structures that are bigger than where that team sees. And I believe as we do so, putting our aids together, putting our different gifts together, our abilities will become a reality. I appreciate each one of you. We love you for what you're doing. I believe in your potential, and I believe that there is greatness in each one of you. May God continue to bless you. May you have a wonderful evening with your families. And thank you so much for getting uncomfortable from your family comfort to come to this call, but I know it was not in vain. God bless you. Over to you, Fred. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm so excited, Fred. I was writing notes furiously here. And team, you've had it from Fred Kasia himself. You've had it from the gentleman who has helped people become PTs. People become WORLD team members. And what motivated me is that I said, next year, I don't want to go to Cape Town by myself. And that is why I invited you guys over, because I want us to travel together next year. Now, if you apply the principles that Fred has talked about, and if you put in the effort, if you put in the commitment, if you put in the work, then you will find that next year we'll actually be in that plane together, going to Cape Town. And Fred, I just want to underscore what you've just said, especially about sponsoring, because sponsoring is the answer. Especially for the new people, you might not understand a lot of things about how the structure works and that kind of thing. All you need to understand is do your 3 in 30, sponsor 3 people. Out of the 3 people, you'll get 1 or 2 who will be excited and active. Work with those ones, help them to sponsor. But don't forget sponsoring for yourself. Yeah, keep sponsoring for yourself at all times. Don't become a manager whereby you're helping your team and you're forgetting yourself. Because for you to build that structure that Fred is talking about, you have to keep sponsoring personally at all times. Yeah. And I know we've been talking about sponsoring, and we always meet at training and we talk about sponsoring. We talk about the cycle, the training cycle. Every Tuesday, we have a Zoom meeting at lunchtime. We have a Zoom meeting in the evening where we talk about the cycle of sponsoring, because it's a skill that you learn. We also have a physical training every Wednesday at Sonalax building. We have a physical training where we learn now practically about some of these skills that you're developing, and where you can actually invite guests to come and have a look at the business. And since I can see many of the people on the call are in a situation whereby you're working on building your team, you're actually getting your team together, then 80% of your time should be spent focusing on sponsoring. And to be effective at sponsoring, I must say, you must have a name list. You must have a book where you're writing names and increasing your names on a daily basis. Because unless you're writing names on a daily basis, meeting new people every day and adding them to your list, you will run out of your names. And many of the new distributors tell me, I talked to my relatives, they were not interested. I talked to my brother, he was not interested. That is normal. That is what happens. And that is why you need to keep developing your name list at all times. Because the people that you meet in the matatu, in functions that you attend, these people join faster than even your relatives. Yeah. So keep on building on your name list. Have a target of getting 3 new names every single day. Every day when you wake up, you know, my target today is to make 3 new friends. And when you go out, you go looking for names. Yesterday, I was in Thika. The company had an event there. And this is one thing that I always encourage, is that work with the company program. We have a very exciting program for July. We have meetings all the way from Kakamega to Machakos, to Kitengela, to Thika. I mean, you have meetings. The company is actually doing a lot. And Fred, we thank you for that, because we cannot take it for granted. It's not automatic. They are spending a lot of money hiring venues and holding meetings. And for us, it is just a question of going back to your name list and seeing there's a meeting in Thika. Who do I know in Thika? Even if you're not going to make it, let's say for one reason or another, you are engaged somewhere else, talk to me. If I won't be going by myself, I'll see who I can be able to link up with your guest. Alan is there. I know he has helped Joyce to even sponsor in Nakuru. So we can work, we can be able, if you work with the company program and invite, remember it starts with the name list. Then you invite where there's a meeting, where the company is having a meeting. In the group, Conquerors group, I have put all the events for this month, the month of July. So take advantage of those events and make sure that you invite for those events. And then once you invite, endeavor to get there. If you're not able to get there for whatever reason, talk to me, and then we can see how that prospect will be taken care of. That is the secret of inviting. Now, I was in Thika yesterday, and when we finished the meeting, I felt that I needed to increase my name list for Thika. So I said, I'll not go home direct. Let me go and have a cup of tea in a restaurant. Where we were was in a hotel. It's a bit upmarket. And I looked at the place, I see the positioning, and I realized here I cannot sponsor. I cannot prospect easily. Let me go to another hotel, which is a similar brand, Cascades, but in the center of town, where it's more cozy. I mean, and it has more traffic as far as customers are concerned. And then if I go there, I'll definitely meet 1 or 2 people that I can be able to talk to about the business. And I went there, and I actually got 2 people that I prospected. I got their numbers. In fact, one of them ended up paying for me my lunch. So I didn't even pay anything for that lunch. It was so comical. And he even introduced me to a friend of his, and I explained to the friend about the business. She's excited about the business. And there and then, I was able to now start a new conversation. And the guy is willing to join. He's saying, I am ready. I can do this thing. You see? It's just amazing how this business grows. But you just have to get out of your comfort zone and do some of these things. See where the company is having a meeting. Go there. Whether you know somebody there or not, it doesn't matter. Masi Kimani is on the call. She can tell you, and Jomo. We grew the business that way. We would go out, if the company is having a meeting, you arrange to go there, and you prospect. You look for people from that area. You talk to your team, see who has somebody in that area. You go to that area, and in the vehicle as you're going on the ground, you'll be able to talk to people, invite, and the people you meet end up joining your business. So you can grow your business in a very fantastic way, working with the set system that we have, the meetings that we have, the Zoom meetings. From Monday to Saturday, Sunday, we have a Zoom meeting. Work with the events that we have and invite. Because friends, if we keep sponsoring, that is what is going to grow our business to the next level. On the call, we have Ruth Mboki, and Ruth Mboki this month has already sponsored 4 people as we speak. And one of the people has sponsored 1 person down there. And she followed the meeting in Kisii and invited and asked the lady to invite others. And that lady was able to get 10 people. And from there, she was able to sponsor. So let's endeavor to go out and make it happen. Let us work with a system that is set in place. And I know, guys, this is our year. Next year, May, I know this team will be together in a plane going to Cape Town, and that's just will be the beginning of great things that are going to come. So thank you so much, guys, for having shown up for this meeting, for this leadership meeting. We will be having subsequent meetings with Fred at an individual level. And the only thing we can do is to improve on our performance. That is the only way we can pay Fred for taking his time to talk to us and giving us tips on how we can grow. If we improve, and he has the statistics, he's been able to look at all the people who are on the call and he's seeing the kind of business that you're doing. And if he sees that there is a change, there's an improvement, now that is the kind of payment that you can give him and the kind of motivation we can give him to even focus on us more and help us to move to the next level. And I can tell you, as we grow, that means more money in your pocket. That means you're achieving more of your dreams. And I can tell you one thing, dreams come true so long as you're with Neolife. Mercy Kimani is on the call. She joined as a distributor. She was not too sure whether this thing was going to work, but she grew. She became a manager, senior manager, director. She became a world team member. She's done so many things. We've traveled with her abroad so many times. She got married. She paid for her wedding with money from Neolife. She educated. She did degrees, and she's done so many degrees, courtesy of the money she has made from Neolife. She's bought properties and many other things that she has gotten from. That's just one example of what is possible. When you focus on this business, when you do what Fred was talking about, things can happen that one day you'll be looking back and saying, wow, I'm lucky. I actually joined your life and I paid the price. I made it happen. And today my life is different. So that is it on my side. Fred, maybe, I don't know that you have a last word for this team.
I think, Fred, you've done it. I believe it's a commitment that we have. You believe in them. I know if this team just starts the process right from now, we're going to achieve greater things as you do so. In addition to what I said, we were going to try to have one-on-ones with your team. Anywhere you have an activity, let me know with Fred, and whatever is possible for me to do to be there, we're going to support you. And one of the things that I want to tell you next time, since we were many of us, I will take an opportunity to draw each person's structure. You only need to tell Fred where you want to be in the next 2 months, and I'm going to help draw an actual structure. But just be sure that I'm not going to draw a structure below 20,000. And because I believe that's where we need to take it, I'm going to do that, and we're going to work it out together. And that will just give us a lot of inner satisfaction, knowing that we are doing what we have. As we continue talking to people, every day gives us an opportunity to touch one more life. And I believe by your success, we're going to be successful as a company. The people that rely on you will have already been started enjoying the fruits of your success. And it's just about touching people's lives, and that's what we're going to do. You have the company support. Just have a good evening. I do not want to add more than what Fred has said. We believe in you. Please go for it. Take personal responsibility. The sky is not the limit. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Fred. All the best and safe flight back to Kenya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.